we are putting all our layers together and giving it in a one common application, where a department can look after the other department's infrastructure also. Say for example, police department, if some robbery happens, they would like to know which is the nearest ATM counter, which is the nearest bank that is there, or if a particular child is kidnapped or someone's kidnapped, which is the nearest school. So what we are thinking is, instead of putting separate applications, we develop one common tool and then give it to all the departments. I think we are in advanced stage of its development. Say for example, education department in one go would like to know, as per Right to Education Act, how much area is covered in Delhi and how much area is not covered in Delhi. So we are trying to develop an application in which he selects all these schools and does a buffer analysis and gives a shadow area which is not covered by Right to Education Act. Similar is the case for delivery points of hospitals. If you think 2 kilometers is the thing that a pregnant woman should have a delivery point, today in Delhi, I think Southeast Delhi, I think there is one district, it doesn't have a single delivery point. Even today after 60 years, we just found it. We are trying to build an hospital in Ambedkar Nagar, hopefully it will come up. But there are many shadow areas, and most of the infrastructure, spatial skewed distribution is there in most of the social sectors because it's politically started most of the projects. So maybe we can use GIS technology to take better decisions of where a particular social infrastructure should come. Another one major thing that we are trying to do is on the caller location identification system. In India, when a call comes to an emergency service provider, be it an ambulance, a police, a fire service, or even a disaster management, the call taker is not able to identify where the call is coming from, and we are providing that information orally, which gets converted at least 3 to 4 times before the actual person reaches your place of occurrence. Now, instead, if the location of the call where the emergency occurs comes on the screen and the location gets transferred to the final responder in one go, I think there will be a lot of time that could be saved in an emergency service condition. We have worked on it, but we are now thinking of 2 different options, how to link the existing landline numbers with the buildings that are already there. Whether we should ask the public itself to do it, put his own number and link his house, or we should engage an agency and do it ourselves. Hopefully we'll come out with the next 1 or 2 weeks and we'll go live in the next 2 to 3 months. And maybe Delhi will be the place or the starting point where we can integrate all the emergency services and give a common number. In Western countries we are able to do it because they have a GIS backing up to identify locate the emergency where it is coming from. The last point that I would like to make is with reference to skills. We recently wanted 15 developers and we had an advertisement done. I also sat in the interview and I could only pick up 2 of them who I thought was, okay, there's a lot of gap between what we require and what we get in the market. And hopefully this conference will serve as the starting point to bridge this gap as an organization with the skill set that we require versus skill set that the contenders come to us. There's a vast gap, and hopefully this gap will get bridged in the shortest period of time. Thank you for your attention.
I think all the speakers gave very illustrative, very informative information, very informative knowledge about the sectors. As you have noticed, these are all very emerging technologies where we need capacity building. Most of the audience would be interested in that only because that should be a business proposition for them to take it forward. So I think NICE has to develop these courses for all the 3 sectors which we have discussed today. And they are all very important in the sense that GIS will be for any type of smart city or decision support systems. That would come in the GIS sector. The cyber security would be, I think, common across for all types of applications, and cloud computing is of course the frontier area now. So any other clarification anybody would like to have? We had to rush through all the presentations. We are sorry because time was less. Each subject needs a full session in itself. But nevertheless, if there are any last few questions, we can handle them.
Indian sites are hijacked by Pakistani and Chinese hackers, not the other way around. Indian sites are hijacked by Chinese and Pakistani hackers and not the other way around.
Okay, so right now I don't know offhand how many are as I said today, the technology is becoming very difficult to find out who the perpetrators. Only from the message we come to know that it has been hacked by the Pakistani or somebody else, the message that has been put. Okay, but over the years it has been happening, and it is not a new thing, not only in India, across the world it is happening. Even in Pakistan, flights are hacked. Okay, sometimes Indians do it, sometimes they do it. In fact, once upon a time I was told that every Friday they will start and we will start on Thursday. Actually.
It's a continuous one.
First of all, sir, my name is Amit Kumar. I am a director of the Gante Group of IT Solutions. So I have one question.
Your mic, your mic.
My name is Amit Kumar. I am a director of Gante Group IT Solutions. I have one question, basic questions. What's the use of this type of certifications? What is scope of it?
Our MTech Electronics Design people who have done this certification through direct mode, they have got placed due to this information security certification instead of electronics.
My name is Siddesh. I am from Bangalore, Karnataka. So about all this kind of certificates sourced to the vendor like TCS or Infosys, why not to tie up with this kind of courses people have read to make mandatory for them to take this kind of students?
So actually I told there is a constraint. We are running these courses under government projects. And unless the government permits us to tie up with the private partners, we cannot tie up. There is a restriction there that we have to go tie up with the government itself. So if the government relaxes this criteria, we can tie up with the private.
So according to my knowledge, basically unemployment because of you are giving the job to the companies and companies are not hiring our students. So there is unemployment is more in the India today's situation, I think, according to my knowledge.
You are suggesting internship.
Not internship, sir, employees, employment.
Direct employment.
Yeah, in the companies, private companies. Because almost all these jobs are doing by outsourcing to the companies like through tender. In that tender you are putting a lot of conditions, this and that, like turn or something like that. Again, you have to put one more condition, this kind of candidates have certified and taken by the companies. So it makes employment for the candidates.
So my question is security related. So I have learned from the panel. What I have learned from the panel, that whatever the services we use right now, whether it is a Facebook, whether it is a Google, whether it is a Twitter, whether it is a Amazon platform, all are cloud-based. And they are exporting their services and their infrastructure to outside country, like US federal government, and which is not auditable. So in the particular scenario of adversity, they can control our data, they can control our mobile number, they can control our position, where I am about, where I am. It's not a question of myself. All the 1.2 billion citizens are exposed in this particular scenario. Is there any risk management available with the government, risk available with the government to counter this particular scenario?
Prakash, you mentioned the trade-off. There is a trade-off between.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, what I had told, if you get something free, in return you are giving back something to the provider. So that's the trade-off. See, what happens? The thing which you are mentioning, what do you put on your Facebook? Some pictures, some updates. What will US government do with that? Let's be practical. If it is some secret data, you will never put it on that. You will never put on a server which is outside the country.
They have the identity, they have my identity. So last year in Bangalore, there was a riot because of a rumor. So this could be the scenario.
See, you are putting two different things. What had happened in Bangalore was when certain kinds of videos were uploaded from somewhere else. So that's another part which our Home Ministry and others are taking care of. But as far as our identity or our personal data is concerned, when you click on I agree, please read that. I suggest everyone who just blindly ticks on I agree, please read what all you are agreeing to provide. Fine print. Please do that. Please read, and then you will never ask this kind of question again.
So that we are secured.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I should thank the panelists for their contribution to this session. So we'll wind up here.
Thank you, sir.
So we have a round of members. We have a round of members. May I request Sri Alok Tripathi to present the memento to the eminent chair and panelists, please. Now I call upon Dr. Sanjeev Gupta to present the memento to Sri Alok Tripathi, please. Thank you very much. Taking the program forward, the next session, MyGov, a presentation on good governance by your partnership. Officer of the 1995 batch of the Chhattisgarh College. He has worked in various capacities in Kerala, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. He has also been a faculty member at the IAS Training Academy in Suri. He is currently posted as Director, E-Governance Division, Department of Electronics and Information Technology, where his responsibilities include program management of the Common Services Center and the E-District project. He is the recipient of the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Administration. May I request Shri Gaurav Dwivedi, CEO, MyGov, to present his views and ideas, please.
I'll start with a small clip of about 4 minutes, and then I'll spend a few minutes talking about MyGov, the platform which has recently been launched, and then maybe if we have time, because we're already delayed by almost over 1.5 hours. If we have time, then maybe we can also take some questions about MyGov. So let's start with the movie clip first.
Hello.
Switch करो भाई.
Screen क्यों नहीं चालू कर रहे हैं? Should also be given an opportunity to directly participate in the process of governance. But how do citizens do that? They would be able to do that only if the government itself provides them a platform by which they can come and engage with the government. Now, what form can this engagement take? If you're living in a village, maybe one of the ways that you can engage is by participating in the Gram Sabha. If you are living in a city, probably you will have an opportunity to participate in one of those board meetings or town hall meetings that may be organized from time to time. But those things don't happen all that very frequently, and the amount of interaction that you can have there is fairly limited. What MyGov does is to provide a platform for structured interaction and structured discussions between the government and the citizens. What you can do here is to share ideas, you can share thoughts, you can even tell us what are the good practices that may be happening in a certain place. I was listening to the questions that were coming along in the previous 2 sessions, the suggestions that came, the questions that came. I think it's a very good platform where if we put on these topics for discussion, then not only these 2 or 3 or 4 suggestions that were able to be shared in this public platform, but all the people who have some ideas in their minds can actually write to this platform and give those ideas to the government. The government does not say that we know everything. We are not saying that. What we are doing is to provide a question. Okay, this is an issue. How should we address that particular issue? You saw in that clip, so there were questions about a variety of subjects. Women's security, Ganga, smart cities, urban development, so many different subjects are there. If you look at the way that the government functions, the government actually starts touching the life of every citizen from before he was born to after he dies. When a woman is pregnant, Janani Suraksha and all of these schemes already start kicking in. The prenatal immunization and the health assistance that is provided starts before the child is born. And after the person dies, public pension and so many other programs are there, which even take care of the family after the person is no more. So if you're looking at this wide range of activities, it's obviously impossible for the government to say that we know and we understand exactly what are the problems for each of the items that might happen from before birth to after death, and we would be able to provide the solution. There are so many ideas, there are so many thoughts. What this platform does is to bring these thoughts together. The three ways in which this happens. The first is discussed. So a particular topic is put up here, and on that topic we start getting feedbacks. Now, discussions always tend to go on interminably. If you've read, say, Amartya Sen's book, The Argumentative Indian, we love to talk. We can talk interminably. We start talking today, we can talk till tomorrow, or maybe day after tomorrow also. But when we are putting up a structured discussion here, then we put up a topic, we put up a question, and we give some time. We give time of 3 days, 7 days, 15 days, as much as a particular department wants. We can give that much time, and then the people log